This has been a long time coming. I've had this engine for about a year now. So this is a Wajax fire pump. Wajax, I think that's how you pronounce it. Built by Evinrude. In the video back then, we went over this engine. It is seized, and I noticed one of the pistons is so rotten, I was able to just push a wooden dowel through it. So I don't know. I don't have much hopes for this one. If the cylinders are okay-ish, I'll find a piston or make a piston, but I don't know. Be a fun teardown anyway, so let's see how it goes. So what I'll start off with, I'm not going to worry about the pump or any of that. But while it's mounted here, I'll remove everything I can. You know, the flywheel, the ignition system, the carburetor, that sort of thing. I actually might even leave it on this platform to remove the cylinder section. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. That might be a little tough. We'll see, because with the cylinders being seized up and all. But I don't know. We'll see what we get out of it. I'm not sure how easy this flywheel is going to be to remove. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so I see threads inside of here. I don't believe the flywheel thread's on. I would think that would be just for pulling. Looks like there might be some kind of spring in there. Let's get a pick and see what we can find in that. Not a spring, it's a lock washer. It looked rounded at first. Thought that would be odd that there'd be a spring there anyway. Magnet will work better. If I had one that fit in there, at this point it probably doesn't matter. Okay, with this having internal threads like this, the puller designed for it looks like this, but I don't have one that has the right threads, so I'm not going to be able to use that. This is actually for a automotive AC compressor to remove the hub on some models from back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, I think. Been forever since I used it. But anyway, that's what we need. That's what we don't have. Maybe I'll luck out and be able to just tap on this, but being aluminum, I don't want to do that too much. So I'll use the plastic side of the mallet. I'll put the bolt on with or put the nut on with a couple threads so it doesn't go flying off if it happens to come loose. Whoa, that worked out very good. Okay. The washer fell, no big deal there. There's our flywheel. The magnets are still magnets, that's a plus. All right, here's our coil. Got our points in here. And this piece was supposed to hold a cover over those points, but apparently somebody's been in here and the cover wasn't put back. WJ542. Wajax, maybe. Serial number 542, I don't know. But this whole assembly, since it's used to adjust the timing here, it should just slide right off. Oh, there's a screw on the back for tensioning it. Okay, in case this goes into a groove, let me pull it out a good bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. Says made in England. Got some part numbers here, patent number. Eilers. Magneto trademark. I don't know, but this looks like the kill switch up here. Push that in to ground it. Which hopefully that's insulated, otherwise you'll get a little buzz when you push that button. We'll test that later. Key goes there, but maybe it's made onto the flywheel. Nope, key is actually missing maybe. So maybe that's why it came off so easy. It's been apart before. All right. Next up, we'll go ahead and pull the carburetor off. Get it out of the way. All right. It's interesting looking in there. I don't know what that is. Find out later. We'll take that apart too. Don't think I can get this off. I wonder if I take the cap off of it completely. Nope. That will come off with this front assembly because it will not unscrew separately. Same with the one in the rear. Pretty neat spark plugs, except it's broken. Alright, you know what? Next up, I think I am going to go ahead and remove the motor from this base. These are bolts on the other side. Let's flip this over. There's a line on the back I need to remove here. Okay. Definitely stuck good. There we go. Oh, there's dowel pins. That's why it's just stuck. Okay, let's get this pump out of the way. Alright, here she is. Let's see, I want to go ahead and take the end caps off next, probably. I guess I need to get this off. Let's see. Looks like an Allen screw. If I remember correctly, this thing's from the 30s or so. I'm still a little surprised there's an Allen screw there and not just a pin you drive in or something. It's also pretty loose. Man, what is the chances of that? I cannot believe it just slid off that easy. That does have the key on it. This whole front piece is brass. Let's find something to wedge it. It's an interesting cutout. Line going across. Maybe that's to catch fuel and oil and lubricate it, but we do have the grease pump here. Unless that's supposed to be oil. But you pull it back and the spring loaded forward. Probably supposed to be a thick oil. Ooh, it's full of stuff. Let me find something to dump that into. That is all the liquid people's been dumping in it, trying to free it up over the years, I think. And pieces of piston. Okay. Let's do the next side. These are on here with paper gaskets, and there's no seals on the end. So once these bearings wear out, you're supposed to replace the end. And there is no actual separate bearing. This brass or bronze assembly is the bearing. This one's the same way. It's exactly the same, except you have the section for the magneto to sit. And there's liquid in this side too, so let's dump that out. You go upside down with it in case there's some in the cylinder. Nope. Okay. Now it's time for all these. Not a lot of room between the block and the bolts. I'm trying to find a thinner socket. Some of the motors I've seen have grease cups here where you pump grease in between the two. I'm not sure how this one's laid out. Should have done this earlier, but I don't know what's going to come out of here. So I'll put down a crusty towel. Okay. Take a look here. Could definitely see pieces of piston from that side. Hopefully the other one's together enough I can measure up if I need to make a piston. Okay. This is interesting. I don't see any nuts on the connecting rods. Yet there is tie wires here. Get you a close-up view of what's going on here. Let me wash my hands so I could actually handle the camera. Okay. A couple things I see that are these rod bolts are flathead screws coming into the top, and tie wires go through the screws that stick out of the part that sticks out of the bottom. So I guess you're supposed to have that whole assembly slid out before you do that. This is our center bearing / seal from each chamber. It's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's there to lubricate or anything, but you see a hole straight in the bottom of this one. That one's kind of at an angle. This one probably won't be too big a deal to get out. This is the one that's broken through. Let's see if I can shine a light on the other side, if we can see it through there. Yeah, see that light through there? It's got a hole in the top. Most likely it was due to whatever they've been dumping in it. May rotted away. The cylinder's pretty rough right there. That's going to be tough to get past to slide the piston out. They look like they're cast iron. I don't know. Be interesting. Let me think on this. Think about what the best approach is. Alright, so I scraped out some of that rust, but before I go a little further, I want to get more wiggle room with this crankshaft, so I want to get this center bearing out. So it looks like I can split it. So if I take this screw out, it's a big chunk of brass. Bottom one's a little more interesting. Got some grooves in there to catch the oil. Gives me a little bit more room, but not a lot. So I had the edge of this blade, scraping away the rust. Pretty big chunks. Hoping the top half isn't as bad, because if the top half is as bad, I'm not going to have any compression. If it's just this little bottom section here, it looks like it's well below the rings. Looking inside the pistons look pretty tall. Alright, I don't know how much it's going to help, but I'm going to try to separate at least this one separately. Let's see. Can't tell if it slipped or came loose. But as easy as it was, I think it just slipped. Definitely slipped. Need a better way. Judging from how much I had to bear down on that center bearing, this probably is not going to work. Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's rounded. If I go to turn this way, it walks right out. But if I go to tighten it, it grips. It really sucks. Oh wait, I got it loose. The other side will be a little trickier. There's not near as much room. Might have to be in your way. It would really be nice to break it loose from this side, because it's machined down here, so if I tear up the end of that, I'm not going to tear up the threads. Okay. Nope. Well, that didn't work out. Just broke the whole tip of the screw off. So it's a little tighter than the other side. I think it would have came out otherwise. Almost looks like a flathead would fit there, but I broke it off too low. Ah, yes. I think I got it. Yeah, that got it. Okay. Got some brass bearing inserts. Looks like they've spun. Maybe, or maybe that's just rough machining in the connecting rod. Well, I think they have spun. No lock on this part, but the two oil holes do line up with here and here. Alright, I did not pay attention to which way that came off, but I can go back to the video and look. So how does that help me? I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get this one out, but that one's deep up in there. I don't know if that's going to happen. So to remember orientation, you got your offset hole here. It lines up opposite of the one in the connecting rod, but this one looks plugged up. Filled with bearing material, maybe. Yeah. So, looking at this closer, there's a mark right here where that's a pin, like a pin that locks it into place. It's supposed to be. It was just totally missing on this, flung out and everything. Definitely got some wiped out bearings then. But I could make these. I'm sure I can't find them anywhere. This is banged up and cracked on the side. Same thing here with that alignment dowel broken off, that pin on it. But at least I can see more of the cylinder now. And it looks horrible. You wash my hands and I'll get you close. Right. So inside this one. This one you can see pretty good before. Can't really see the cylinder. This one's got some really bad stuff going on. You see the port up there is rusted all around it. So here's a close-up of this. I just stopped it by mistake. Hopefully it didn't cancel it. There's a close-up of that dowel pin that's broken off in there. Definitely spun the bearings, it looks like. Crankshaft doesn't look horrible. I mean, you can feel, I feel a slight something in the middle, but the rest actually feels pretty good. This one feels great. That one's definitely the worst. Alright. I'm going to try to scrape some of that rust out best I can. And see where I can go from there. Okay, I was able to get this flapper wheel up in there pretty good. Most of what you see on there now is just what's slung off, but yeah, those are just pieces that slung off and stuck to it, but it all got cleaned up pretty good actually. Doesn't even look like the cylinder's too horrible. There's hope. Alright. On our good piston, it's most of the way down. I'm going to take this and try to tap the piston down. This is plastic. I don't know. Whatever destroyed this other piston, there is a really good chance that they dumped it into that one too. So this piston may not survive, but hopefully I get enough out of it to tell what it looked like. Let's see. It moved. Moved almost a eighth of an inch. Okay. The top of that piston is at a slant, so it kind of binds this thing. Let me just go further with it. Sticking mostly out on this side now. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's recenter this and hit it again. All right. Set this to the side for a minute. Wish both pistons looked like this. But this one's good. I mean, the rings may not be, but they're stuck. Ooh, almost broke it. The rings are actually strong. I am happy with that. Let's take a look in the cylinder. Yeah, that's not bad. That stripe on the top there looks similar to what we saw on the bottom of this other one, but it all went away pretty good. Alright, let me see if I can tap on this one more and get it to move. I hope. Alright, I'm just gonna spray the fresh cylinder area that I scuffed up. I am sure there's plenty of oil soaked in between the piston and the cylinder wall. And it's only been soaking for no telling how long. Okay. I'm going to go through this one a little bit, but maybe hit the connecting rod on the top. That one definitely fights me a little more. Bigger hammer. Might set it on the concrete on the ground. Yeah, since that moves on wiggle the rod, I'm sitting directly on the wrist pin and rod, so. Nah, I don't think it's moved at all. Alright, I'm going to put it on the concrete. Try it that way. Helps if I can hit the thing. Nah, I need something a little more solid. Let me see if I can find some aluminum. I'm real hesitant to use this nice 3/4 inch steel stock I got. But it feels like it was made for it. Let's hope I don't tear up the rod. You see what the top of this rod looks like? I don't think it moved. Moved then. Touching the bottom. Oh! I hope that was on camera. That hurt. If you didn't see it on camera, I smacked that knuckle. Alright, there's some crusty stuff up there. That is where the top of the piston was. Well, I can't see it. Feels smooth under it when I scrape it up. I don't have high hopes for this one though. I'll have to clean all that out there and then we'll revisit it. The rest of the cylinder don't look too crazy. Let's look at the piston. That is the problem. That hole I knocked in it really, really easy using the plastic piece. Although it looks stout, I was expecting the whole thing to be disintegrated. I wonder if it was already cracked from somebody else trying, and I just finished it off. Huh. No telling. What sucks is I'd need to make 2 pistons if I make a piston. They need to be the same weight, and I would probably make them out of aluminum. And these are cast iron, so I don't know. If I could get a piece of cast iron, I could do it, I guess. Wish there was some available. No such thing that I could find online. Rings and stuff I can get by size and make them work, but piston's a little bit different story. Alright, well, that's it for this main teardown. We will come back to this in a couple more parts. We'll dissect the magneto and see if we can get it working. And I'll actually just mock up the crankshaft in here so we can spin it and see if it actually works. But we'll dissect the magneto, clean everything up, make sure there's no shorts or opens in the coil itself. We'll take our carb apart too. Probably build it. Figure out what that is in there. Looks like just a piece of gasket material with the hole way too small. But that's it for now. See you next time.